Grief doesn't arrive with documentation. It doesn't check your HR system before it decides who matters. It doesn't consult an approved list. It doesn't wait for a policy to catch up with the loss. Grief simply arrives, and it arrives for whoever it arrives for, which creates a problem for institutions, because institutions need grief to be administratively manageable. Most corporate bereavement policies operate on two assumptions so embedded that they rarely examined out loud. The first assumption, who you can grieve, can be determined in advance by a genealogical chart, your family tree. Parent, child, sibling, spouse, grandparent, approved. However, dog or cat, best friend of 30 years, next door neighbor who checked on you every day, denied. The second assumption, how long you are allowed to grieve, can be predetermined by the same chart. 3 days for most, 5 for immediate family, back to work. The institution isn't measuring grief. It's measuring policy compliance. Those are different things, and most organizations and employees never stop to notice the difference. My close friend of 30 years, Steve, died a few years back. When it happened, I was working at a company that told me during hiring negotiations, we have unlimited leave. I didn't ask for details at the time. Unlimited sounded like a good deal. What I did not know, what was never said, was that unlimited leave meant unlimited leave as determined by your department. Those are not the same statements. The difference only became visible when I actually needed it. The policy looked unlimited until reality enforced the fine print. When a recruiter says a company has unlimited leave, it sounds like employee care. But if you climb upstream to the accounting layer, the optimization function changes. Unlike traditional systems, accrued leave is a financial liability the organization carries on its books. Most standard companies where I have worked, your time is an actual asset that grows with seniority. They honor the human baseline. However, unlimited leave eliminates that liability instantly. The company no longer owes you a balance. They do not track your usage until you use what they deem to be too much. Those who take less than the departmental average are never notified of what they left on the table. The company simply absorbs the untaken labor as pure margin. When Steve died, I discovered exactly where that invisible margin was drawn. 30 years of friendship didn't fit into the organization's approved definitions of grief. So the system did what it was optimized to do. It chose the corporate policy over human reality. The family tree assumption has another layer underneath it that rarely gets named. When I have told the story to friends and other colleagues, many defend the policy. They will tell you, if there were no rules, people would take advantage of the system. And I understand that response. It's not wrong exactly. It's just answering a different question than the one being asked. The conversation immediately shifts from how do humans actually grieve to how do we prevent abuse? The human disappears. The risk model replaces the human model. That's a very common institutional move, and it usually goes unnoticed. It's the ultimate corporate Jedi mind trick. You don't actually have to police the workforce. You just have to convince the employees that their co-workers are the real threat to the policy. The pitchfork people spend all their energy guarding against the torch people, while the institution walks away with a ledger. Here's the distinction we're sitting with. One kind of thinking asks, what prevents exploitation? Another kind asks, what preserves humanity? Both are real questions. The problem is that most systems heavily optimize the first, exploitation, and only lightly consider the second. It's the equivalent of banning the axe because of the criminal. The system restricts everyone, simply because management would rather enforce a blanket rule than deal with people as individuals. The honest employees carry the burden. That's not a policy designed around human reality. That's a policy designed around institutional risk management, dressed up as employee care. HR will tell you, and they believe this, that bereavement leave exists so employees can return more productive after time away to grieve. That sentence is true as far as it goes. However, the complete sentence is, Bereavement leave exists so employees can return more productive after no more than 3 to 5 days away from work if and only if the loss matches the approved genealogical categories as determined by a chart designed before anyone knew who you would love or lose. Saying the full sentence out loud feels uncomfortable, but discomfort doesn't change the structure. The observation is that abstraction eventually becomes visible. The policy works fine until it encounters a case the abstraction cannot represent. A dog that was someone's only family, a friend who mattered more than any relative on the approved list, a loss that doesn't fit the chart. Then the human appears, then the mismatch appears, then the policy reveals what it was actually designed to protect. And it wasn't the employee. The deeper question, the one most organizations never seriously ask, is this: what would a bereavement policy look like if the mind behind it started with human reality first and worked backwards to the rules? Instead of starting with the rules and hoping human reality would fit, it's not complicated. Give the manager discretion instead of a chart. Let them look at an actual loss and make a human call. Instead of checking a list that was written before they knew who you'd love, not unlimited leave for everyone forever. Not 3 days from an approved list, something designed around how grief actually works, which is unpredictably for whoever it arrives for on its own timeline. Grief doesn't care about your family tree. It never did. The chart was always ours, not grief's. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to hear more, feel free to like and subscribe.